the recording now. And then this website that you're on, this wiki page, you'll be able to see the encore presentation. And my apologies for anyone else who's still struggling to get on, but I want to kind of get started with this. Right now we have 1, 2, 3 folks that I'm going to be able to collaborate with, Bi Chen, Chun Yu, and Anitha. And so the first part I wanted to see is if we were able to meet the prerequisites. So everyone's on the audio. Have you been able to get iRise Studio installed locally? And just let your name know. So I guess I would say Bi Chen. Have you been able to get...
I will be in the ballroom.
Ballroom. I'm not sure if that was
yeah,
intended for...
Because right now they are going on the training, so I got logged in. Yeah, because I see what they're doing right now. They are checking who's who.
Is that Bi Chen? So I was speaking with Bi Chen. I don't know if you're there.
Yeah, it's me.
Bi Chen. So you were all set. Do you have Studio installed?
I haven't installed. I got the link.
Yeah,
but,
You have the link. Okay, so while you're going, I'm going to go ahead and update this site with a link for the prerequisite. And while getting sped up, I've got a link. If you could just download the file and install it, as we continue to get sped up, you'll be able to jump right in. So, iRise training prerequisite. Were you able to go to any of the online trainings?
Yeah.
Yes. I did the overview and
Okay.
a little bit explanation.
You know why?
Okay.
Because everybody new phones, the link ones. So instead of doing a transfer, they're probably going to wait until you get to the second one.
Okay. So, Bi Chen, I've got a link right here for you to download and install Studio. If you take a look at this,
Okay.
and I've got a link right here for you. If you could go to this link, this will download the install file for you. Do you see that?
Okay. Do you want me to now?
Yes. Yep. Please install it now, and then we're going to go through configuring it. Next one is Chun Yu.
So that's why you don't have your phone yet.
Are you on?
Because they're just waiting.
Chun Yu, can you hear me?
I don't think they have any old ones.
All right. I'm going to mute everyone. So Chun Yu, have you installed Studio?
Yes, I already installed.
Excellent. Have you been given access to the? Have you been given access to the Deaf Center?
Sorry, hi.
Yeah, when I
Come
try to
here.
figure out how to do the...
Well, let me see if I can switch over to your screen. I'm going to make you presenter, and I'm going to see if I can.
Okay.
And Chun Yu, if you could please share your screen, I'm going to go ahead and get you all set up to the Deaf Center.
I can only listen.
How do I share my screen?
Very good. So there's a play button. That's it looks like a play button on the top left corner of GoToMeeting.
Top left corner?
Yeah. So you should have a GoToMeeting control box or something like that. Normally takes a little while there, but this would be a valuable skill because this is very interactive, how we kind of get familiar with that.
That's one purpose so that I can get because I've heard in the morning.
I cannot find that.
Thank you. There's a little video of it. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I think so.
You figured out how to do it. Are you there?
Are you going to take your laptop?
Yes, but I cannot find the button you talk about.
Yeah, I think it's...
You cannot find the button. Well, let me take the control back and I'll show you a
actually,
screenshot. I'm going to change it back to me, and I'm going to show you what it looks like.
BPM is...
I'm currently downloading a secret.
Oh, you need to download something for GoToMeeting?
Yeah, I need to download the online launcher.
Okay. I'm going to show you guys a picture of what it looks like. Edit, copy.
Yeah, but he can't do anything. Yeah, there's an interactive thing. So But, you know, if they're concerns about they probably are you gonna go to the joint meeting? The landing page and the RF? Yeah. Okay. So, anyway.
All right. So we're still working on this. The next person, so I'm going to working on a couple go to meeting controls. All right. So next victim. So Chen Yu, and please correct me if my voice is if my pronunciation is wrong. You have Studio installed, but you need to configure your GoToMeeting. Once you do that, we'll be able to share your screen.
Actually, I have already installed the
Oh, great. Okay.
monitor, and I can see you on my screen.
All right, excellent. Well, I was trying to make it friendly.
So you want me to show my screen?
Yes, please. I'm going to go through, and I'm going to, if you would share your controls, I'm going to go ahead and get you set up. So, have they provided? Did iRise provide you your user ID and password?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I can do that for you. Landing page. And I'll administer here. Did everyone receive an email? I think I saw it. Everyone was going to receive an email from iRise confirming that your user had been set up.
Let me see. I think I received an email, but
Everyone should have received an email from iRise. And then I can just add your access directly to the page. If you know what your user ID, it's easier for me to find you. Otherwise, I can kind of guess. There can't be too many options for what they came up with your name. Chun Yu.
I received an email from iRise that Jason sent out, but there is no user ID.
There was no user ID.
Right.
All right, let me take a look at Jason. You may be able to use my attached for 6 licenses.
I think this email also CC to you. It's sent out on June 13th.
All right, trial license. Okay, so everyone had an email for contact, and that's reset. Okay, so they said that they set it up for you. Did you receive an email saying what your ID was set up as? Because usually they would give you a name. So B Chun Yu, what's your email address? I wonder if they would have.
My email address is CTANG.
Okay, I wonder if they used your email address as your user.
CTANG1.
All right, let's see if that's how they put you in there. CT. That was not one of them. Let me take a look. Usually they use the first initial of your name and then your last name. Let's see.
My email address has my first initial, my first name, and my last name, and the number 1.
Saw that. I'm thinking that they did C Tang would be my first guess. C. Nope. That was not one. Chun Yu. Maybe they put it in Chun Yu. Chun Yu, if you are not in there, I think we'll be able to share your, let you borrow someone else's credentials.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to let you borrow my credentials with my absolute top secret password for now. And then after that,
Okay.
hopefully you'll go in there. So if I can borrow your, if you can give your keyboard and mouse control, I'm going to get you set up.
Give my, okay.
All right. Excellent. And if anyone has their user ID and password set up, please let me know. I was hoping that would have all been taken care of. In fact, I'm going to invite iRise to this call because perhaps they can help with this administration.
Do you got the control?
I will grab the control. I'm going to send a quick email to iRise. I'm going to ask them to join this call, see if they can help me with this administration. Teresa Do. Please join strings. And do they have a way of making this one important? All right. Our iRise support people should be joining, but in the meantime, do I have, excellent, I have control. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to set you up, Chun Yu. And then once Jason arrives, could you move your studio, there it is, I'm trying to grab it. Could you move it into the view? I think you must have two screens. If you could move your, oh, thank you. So I'm going to go log you in as me, and then after our the heroes arrive here from iRise, we'll be able to you'll log in with your own credentials.
Okay.
And I need to check on the trial.dc.irise.com. All right. Let's see if I trial, TRL, trial. Okay. All right. Com ends with an M. All right. So that should have you connected. And one of the first things that we're going to need to do is we're going to want to get to our project. And let me check my project in here. We're going to check this in. Actually, we'll start up a new project here. We'll just hit done here. We'll create, I have no idea. It's, the latency is pretty tricky when you're running on someone else's, so we'll just create a blank project right here. Users. Excellent. Well, Cheng Yu, so I have you started on this one. I'm going to have you work on the first task, which is getting your system set up. So welcome to iRise. You're the first one in. And I'm going to have you set up, I'm going to work on the next person, but I need you to set up your preferences with the standards that I've listed right here. So, Chen Yu, I was going to see if you could please, I'm going to make the next person the demonstrator, but if you could please update your preferences to match what this has, it'll make it a lot easier for you. And I'm going to take the control back, and then I'm going to find my next victim.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me know when you're done. So, all right, so we've got one guy we might be pretty close to having all set up here. The next victim here, we have Chen Yu, needs install, need to configure GoToMeeting. He's setting up preferences. All right, next person. Anyone else that's on the call and has audio? Chen Yu, B Chen, next one, Anitha. Are you available?
Yes. What I have here is like long ago I downloaded I have iRise Reader. I don't have a Studio.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so what I'm going to do, can you see my screen?
Yes.
I am going to, and are you able to access this wiki page? I've got your name right up here, and I've got a link for you so you can download and install Studio.
Okay.
Do you see right here?
So I have to go to peoplewhojam.wikispaces.com?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
I can send out a link to you. This is everything that I'm going to be sharing with you, including the follow-up YouTube video. I'll have it right here. And then I've got a link I need you to click, and then when you click that, it'll take you to the install file. And that install file, depending on your computer, it's right down here, Studio. And so if you download PC or Mac, and obviously you probably have a PC.
So you are you going to send me that link?
You have the link right now. I'll send it. I sent that out in the email, or did you receive that email? I could send you one. I just sent an email for a reminder today's iRise class.
Yeah,
I could forward that to
that.
Okay, that link in the top part where it says People Who Jams, if you click that link, if you go to that page, under the first agenda item, so it says prereqs met, it says Anitha, and it says need Studio install, and I got the link right there. And if you hit that,
when I click that link, all I see is like I see the title iRise Intermediate Part 1 and 2, and then underneath I see this page doesn't exist yet.
All right, so it's one of those fun ones without a we're missing link. If you see on your right-hand side, you should see a listing of pages. There must be a problem with the link. Do you see the iRise? If click that, and then it'll take you to the page that we're all on.
Okay, I see a list now coming up when I click Pages and Files.
Okay. One of them is iRise Intermediate Part 1 of 2.
Right.
If you click that, does it show you content?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So this is our home page. Everything I'm going to send you will be right here. There must have been something wrong with the link. Sorry about that. So then you can join on there. So Anitha, once you have that installed, let me know. Is anyone else, right now we only have 3 people that both have GoToMeeting operational on their computer as well as audio. Is anyone else joined that can access this?
This is Bing. I installed the Studio. I just installed it.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
This is Monica. I have a Studio installed, but I don't have a GoToMeeting installed yet.
Okay. Once you go to meeting install, it'll be a lot easier. I need to hop around to people's computers. So this is Monica. You have Studio installed. Once you have GoToMeeting installed, I'll be able to jump in and support you, because the way it's set up, I have to be able to hop around between 12 different people's computers. And I haven't figured out a way to be nimble just yet. I'm trying to get Leprechaun training. So you have a studio installed, and you need GoToMeeting.
Yes.
Okay. Do you need help with that, or are you able to access the meeting page, or did you have the same issue as Anitha?
No, actually, it's asking for all the credit card information as well.
Oh,
really?
you should need credit card information. If you go to that page, the People Who Jams page, there's a link, a URL for GoToMeeting. If you click that, it's a free download, and that'll enable you to share your screen. Let me see. Did I send you that? Did I send you a link?
For GoToMeeting, I'm not sure.
Oh, well, Neetha, I'm going to send you a email right now. So you are, it's A Patel too? I know.
No, mine is MGURIGIN.
Ah, got it. I'm going to send you an email, MGUR. And let me put in this link, see if it'll work better. I'm going to. All right, I just sent everyone else a link. It says meeting space, and let me know if you receive it. This is the biggest challenge. Once you guys have accomplished a spot where we can do the GoToMeeting, the learning stuff, then the real fun stuff begins. All right, so Monika, you need, so send you setting up preferences. Who else? So unfortunately, Barbara has a meeting, so she's not able to conflict. Anyone else that's on that has audio as well as the web access? I see 7 people, so there's got to be someone else.
Hey, Tony, I just installed the studio and it's on.
Oh, excellent. Oh, and I see Adora's online too. I know she's got it set up. Once she's, if Adora pings. So is this Manica? I don't know. Okay, great. Is this the person who just installed Studio, or someone is setting up?
This is Anita.
Anitha. Okay, great. You're able to install that.
Yes.
All right. This is going to be a challenge for remembering voices. I'm going to know you by voices pretty well here.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'll introduce myself.
No, as long as you're not offended by saying, like, I just said hi. All right. So, Anitha, your Studio is installed. Now, do you have you been, same thing with iRise, have you received any credentials from them?
No, I saw the same email that Chanu was sharing. I didn't get any other email.
Okay. We'll come to you in one moment. I want to see, is Adora, Adora, can you hear us? She might be on mute, because I know hers,
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Because I know that you have a user ID and you're pretty close to setting up. I'm going to come back to, I think it was Anitha. You just installed it. And I was going to move over to Adora because I've seen, I've been by her cube, and she for sure is all set up. And so I was going to get her wired, and I was going to set up our 2 teams, which I think is right now, just for the setup for a purpose of time, I'm going to start off with Chun Yu and Adura for Team 1. And we'll kind of watch this training, and we are going to put these 2 people right on the spot because it's just more fun that way. Adura, I'm going to make you the presenter, and I was going to see if you wouldn't mind letting me just get you, just make sure your configurations and everything were all set up. And then I'm so lazy, I'm going to actually just run our training from either your computer or Chen Yu.
Okay.
So I just made you the presenter. If you could share your screen, and then it'd be the easiest if you could give keyboard and mouse control over.
Okay. Can you see?
Yeah, yes, I can see it. Excellent. Yeah, and launch that studio. And then for everyone else, if you have, if obviously there was a mix-up with getting credentials, so we'll have an encore presentation of what two people got a chance to do, and we can have a follow-up one. But this is a good lessons learned. I don't know if there's a latency there, Dora. You've launched Studio, or?
Oh, okay. Launch it.
Yes, please launch that. And if you could share your controls with me, I can get you set up, and I can kind of start moving into some of the objectives of today's meeting. For some of the items, everyone will be able to participate in, regardless where they are with getting Studio set up. And then for others, there's going to be our two top students right now at the with the setup. We'll be able to go through. And Adora, would you mind sharing your controls as well?
Yeah. How do I do
It's
that?
top
Okay,
right.
Top right. Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Where do you want me to?
So if you could provide the controls, that I see your mouse, you're kind of in the area of where that control is. You expand it out, and then you know that little red arrow pointing to the left. You expand that out, and then from there it says give keyboard and mouse control to Tony.
Okay. Give me to Tony. Okay.
Excellent, sweet. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So Adora is going to be hyper efficient right now. And then also, is that People Who Jam page open? Oh, you had it open with Explorer? We're going to do two things here. So Chen Yu, are you still connected to your studio environment? Chen Yu?
Yes.
All right, excellent. And I want to just make sure we're going to take a look at your screen. So I'm going to ask you pretty soon to see if your screen looks like, all right, where's T2? See if we have a visual lock here. Should be for every idea.
Already set.
I'm going to add you to the same project. Hold on one moment here. The ActionNet project. And Adora needs to be added to this as a collaborator. One sec. Adora. All right. Adora, I've got to close you down, and you're going to be able to access this ActionNet project that Chung Yu is on right now. Because we are about to form the first team of the iRise Center practice. All right, you got to log you out and log you back in. Disconnect. All right. And Adora, I think we set. Did we standardize your settings? If not, we can come back to it.
No.
All right, let me check. I'm quite sure that you're on there. Adora is a collaborator on the landing page. Up, we want projects. ActionNet. Adora Jenko, you're on there as a collaborator. Done. Disconnect. And if you can provide me a web browser, we might need to go through the web front end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you could give me a web browser that on this screen.
Okay.
Because I need to get you and your teammate looking at the same page. So if you could just bring a web browser and drag it into the screen where I'm seeing studio. Ah, perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
Trial. And we're just going to go back, and you already have a another project up there that you'll be able to provide. Obviously, this is the trial site. We will hopefully be having our Actionette site set up soon. I can't even find Khalees Consulting right here. Dashboard. All right, so you can see landing page, and Chun, can you see landing page? Because maybe that's just going to be the project that we're going to have to collaborate on. Hold on one moment. Chun, can you see the landing page?
Where should I find the landing page?
Let me take a quick peek at your screen.
Organizer? Oh, yeah, I see.
Okay. And I'm going to go just check in my project, because right now it's checked out, and I'm going to check it in so everyone can collaborate. Excellent. You are in the landing page. If you could share with me your control.
Okay.
I'm going to navigate you to the same place where Adora is, and you guys will be able to collaborate. If you can you share the controls? All right, nice. All right, excellent, excellent. So let's get you and Adora. Gonna run through this maze here. You and Adora can see this. Oops. And make sure this has been checked in. Cool, that's been checked in. Excellent. All right, and I'm going to create a training. So we have a whole lot of stuff in here, and I'm just going to create a folder for you and Adora. Action net COP. New page. And I'm going to have you just kind of sit right here, center of practice. And I'm going to get you started on this task. So, Chunyu, you said you did the iRise training, right? Have you taken the initial training?
Training?
Yes.
I only did one part.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw you. I'm going to throw you into the. I'm going to throw you off the deep end, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to collaborate with you through Adora. So, could you please drag in a browser window and view? I'm going to show you some tasks.
Okay.
And if you obviously have two screens. Perfect. So, this is the task that I have for you, and I'm going to be collaborating with you through Adora, which is the first thing that I'm going to start teaching you is how to collaborate. The ability to use the tool is not nearly as important as your ability to collaborate. So I've decided just right now I'm going to make a team of Adora and Chen Yu, and I need you guys to create a team project page, and I'm going to make you guys team 1. New page, team 1. And so for those of you that have taken the training, let me just, this will probably be just a little bit of a recap for you. This is the iRise Studio, and what you're looking at here on the far left-hand side, and this has way more than I would anticipated you seeing. I wanted to set up a blank project. Unfortunately, you're going to have to take a look at the what we have for the landing page. But on the left-hand side, controls, and I don't know how to expand Studio, but I thought the maximize button's there somewhere. On the left-hand side, these are called chapters, and chapters are several items, but for our purposes, there are pages, and analogous to a web page. And then up here you have widgets. These are things that you are able to put on a page. And the art of simulation is actually having a mastery of 4 disciplines. I'm going to show that right here. So the objective of the Center of Practice is to get capabilities on 4 disciplines that will enable you to make a true simulation. The intermediate course is a shorter goal. But these widgets, we have the ability to style, add behavior, have data, and logic. And if you have all 4 of those, we make a very realistic simulation of what the future will look like. For today's objectives, though, we're only going to look for something basic. We're going to have widgets that can do behaviors. So basically widgets that can do an action. So the task that I'm going to challenge Chen Yu with, and I'm going to just put him on team 1. He's going to be on this page, and then I'm going to hop over to Adora, and Adora is going to collaborate with Chen Yu on creating a team project page. What we are going to do is we're going to start simulating a real-life project where today's assignment task is to see if you can create a page, and we've created a page for Team 1 where you identify the team members any way you want to with text widgets, and I'll show you how to make some text widgets, as well as the ability to do some behaviors, which is some navigation, and basically just to get us comfortable with putting data on the page. So the 2 big items here, if you're familiar with, are the text box. And there's a couple different ways to do it. You can click here and then drag it to the screen, and you can type Team 1, and that's obviously a little small, so we can go ahead and we can use text heading 1. Although the objective is not to style this, so you can make a large page. In addition, there's a couple other ways that you can add the widgets. You are able to, for those who are familiar with Adobe, the Adobe product, you can do right mouse clicks, and all of a sudden you have the ability to put anything there. You can put it a text box here. Now there is a special keyboard shortcut control that I am not going to risk on Chen Yu's computer, but I know I can do it on Adora's computer. But there are special hotkeys and shortcuts. I'm going to show Chen Yu where this is, and this is a very valuable tool to have available. And I think I had this on the iRise prerequisite, where it shows you. Oh, thank you. It shows you the keyboard shortcuts on the last page. Going down to the bottom there. My scroll button latency is a little rough here. Is now for the folks who have taken the training, are these controls or widgets? Is this something kind of, are we going too fast? If we are, in our second session, we can go over some of the content of those online courses. I'm trying to scroll to the very bottom there, Chenyu, if you could help me with the adding widgets. I seem to have lost control. I want to bring that page. It says adding widgets. If you could bring that up. I thought there was more on that page. Is that the bottom? Oh, they won't go any further. Okay, I guess that's all that was there. They've updated this slick since last time I've seen it. So you can drag and drop, which we just showed, from the toolbar. You can right-click and insert. And then there are other keyboard shortcuts as well that I won't get into. So this is the objective. I'm going to cut Chenyu loose, and I'm going to ask him to identify Team 1, kind of come up with any name you want, put in the team members, as well as come up with the team availability. Right now it's between him and Adora, and I like to be able to just start meeting, figure out what time is the best to meet with you on a frequent basis, and folks that can make that time can join in on that team as we work on our projects. So Chenyu, stay. I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to switch over to Adora's screen so people can see what it looks like when you guys are collaborating. So Adora, I'm going to make you present.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So what I need to do is I create a team and create the team members?
Yes. And then we're going to have a couple other tasks. And Adora, if you could share your controls, Adora I can have Adora collaborating with you while she is on there. So if you double-click landing page, Adora is going to join you right now, and this is the part that I want everyone else to see, and this is the value of it. There's a couple items on this that you do not have the knowledge or ability of how to do, but your team member, Adora, does. So if you'll notice here on Adora's screen, we can now see everything real time that Adora's teammate, Chenyu, has done. So under team members, Adora can put her name. And Chenyu, could you please put your name under team members?
Okay.
And keep in mind, we're not doing anything other than just watching what Chenyu is doing. He's on a completely different computer. And Adora, if you could bring up, I want to pull up our meeting agenda, and I want to copy all the tasks right into this window so it's easy for everyone to see.
Meeting agenda.
The most important thing is we got to have that top part. Top one. Right here, if you share your control, I just need a web browser. If I can get to the web, I can get to this meeting thing. An internet browser or a Chrome browser or a Firefox, any one of those. If you bring those up into the this viewable area, perfect. Excellent. So we have team members here. Let's go ahead and look at the other items that we're trying to do. So we want to identify team members. We've identified Adora and Chenyu. We have a team availability. So the next question is, Chenyu, could you add another text box that says identify team availability or team availability somewhere on this page? And what we're going to want to do here, Adora and Chenyu, what is a good time during the date and time during the week where it's convenient for both you and Chenyu to meet? Like, is there what time do you guys get in the office or something like that? I want to kind of block out some time, and then Team 1, folks that have that meeting time in common can join Team 1, and we'll be able to work with each other. So Adora and Chinyu, we'll let you guys decide between yourself. What's your preferred time for meeting?
Okay. It's 10, okay?
10 in the morning?
Yeah, is it okay with you, Chi?
Yes.
Okay, 10:30. What day of the week? So 10:30, and you guys can obviously meet whenever, but if you guys let me know what time, I can make sure I join as well. And I'll add myself on that team. So 10 in the morning on what day of the week? 10 in the morning is good on all days, or?
Yeah, it's okay for me. Any day.
Okay, let's just say 10 a.m. on Tuesdays.
How long will this take?
The team meetings. My goal is that the training right now, the trainings are 2-hour sessions. As we have the teams put together, these training sessions will get down to an hour to about 30 minutes because you guys will not be doing any navigation. You're going to just go to the same place every time. And if you guys want to make it, it's whatever works best for your team. And we'll spin up other teams.
I have a meeting every day at 10:30.
10:30. Okay. What's a better time?
How about 1:30?
1:30 on Tuesdays. Adora, can you do that?
1:30 Tuesdays.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
On Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Shinyu, would you mind modifying that text? You can double-click that text widget,
Okay.
and you can make that 1:30 p.m. on Tuesdays. And as we do that, we have the next part that'll just magically change in the background. And we want to demonstrate 2 navigation behaviors. We want to be able to view a scenario and launch a simulation. One other thing I want to put in there is Team 1. I've got a team project for you guys. Team 1 is going to work on this scenario right here. This is a very popular scenario for iRise training. So we'll just keep with it. You guys need to create a simulation where a user logs on with credentials. So, and so we're going to demonstrate here. There's a type of chapter called a scenario. So if you go take a look under the ActionNet Center practice, Dora, we are going to create, actually, Dora, I'm going to have, I'm going to show how to do it on your computer. Dora is going to create a new scenario, and this is going to be the scenario for the Team 1 scenario. Chen Yu, do you see the scenario that just showed up on your computer?
Yes.
All right, so I want to collaborate with everyone. I was going to let Adora have a turn at making the first item and then move it over to Chen Yu to do the next item. So in this scenario, and we could articulate the words for it afterwards, but this is a visual project, so we want to start having the visual first. So my first question is, if we were to make a prototype of a simulation, what would be the first page that we would see to demonstrate login capabilities? A login page. All right. Bonus. So I would like, Adora, I need you to, if you could create a page, we need to create a page in the simulation for login.
Okay.
Excellent. Adora, grab the page widget from that master, and right now it's called page 1. If you could call it Team 1 login, well, right now we just want to identify everyone as everything by the teams. Also, later on, other people with their scenarios are probably going to want to use some of the work that you've done. that login page will be used to demonstrate invalid logins. Okay, Chun Yu, the next thing, I guess, Team One login. I guess the user would enter in login credentials, and I'm going to just you can put in a caption right here. User enters in
Okay.
login credentials. This is just a rough description of what's going to go on there in that scene. And then Chun Yu, what would be the next thing? I guess there'd be a behavior. They would do something after they put in the login credentials. And then what would be the next thing? Submit is an action that we'll probably have on that page, but and you can go ahead and you can. Oh yeah, there you go. You can put in a decision. That's going to be advanced. But draw the decision in now. And so the decision's best if you answer it if you pose it as a question. So you could say valid login ? Or valid credentials ? You could rename the decision to that. And in iRise, they prefer to be as visual as possible. So they normally have it, you assume yes goes to the right. So if there's valid credentials, and by the way, scenario one, it will always be valid credentials because we are trying to simulate a valid login. What should be the page that you would see? You can invent anything. There's no wrong thing. If they had valid credentials, they could see a landing page or a welcome page or something like that. What would I'll let the team decide on that one, but they should probably see some page to indicate that they had success. Want to say like home page or something like that? If they pass a valid, okay. Chun Yu, can you please make a home page on the right-hand side of valid credentials? And if you could call it a home page, and that will be our simulation to demonstrate how login works. We're going to have this login page. Someone's going to type in something, and then they're going to hit this button there, and then this home page is going to somehow demonstrate success. This is at a high level what we want to accomplish, but now let's kind of go in to the login page. As you see, as Adora and Chun Yu are putting these masters on here, on the left-hand side, these chapters were showing up. So let's collaborate on the login page, and we're going to learn about other widgets you can put on a login page. So 2 ways to get to it is you can double-click this page from the scenario, Team 1 Login, or you can also go right here, Team 1 Login. So Chun Yu, are you able to access the login page?
Yes.
All right. So for I'm going to show you a kind of a powerful master. Chun Yu and Adora, you guys are both HTML. You guys have experience with building web pages?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're familiar with HTML, there's this thing called a form, and a form tag. And things between the form tag is the data that actually gets sent. Well, we're going to be simulating something here, so there's a special object called a form object. And that's where we're going to just create a form somewhere on our login page. So Adora, I'm going to have you, I'll have you make the form, and then Chun Yu, if you could make, just give this page a title, I'll call it login page. And I guess we'll have to come up with a name for the product at some point. But Chun Yu, you've gotten pretty good at making it a text. Could you make a text header and call it login page? And Adora, I would like to ask you right here to use this form widget and just draw a nice box on the screen. Like, kind of click that and then drag on the screen and make a form widget. Yeah, just kind of click somewhere on the screen. Yep, click once there, and then you can click somewhere in the middle of that page, and you'll have a form pop up. Excellent. And just so there's a visual boundary, I'm going to show you a way to style it, just so it'll be easier for your partner to find it. See that I'm going to move your mouse over to the styling page right here. We're going to give it looks like that window is probably popping up on your other monitor. If you could bring that into view so everyone could see it. we're going to give it a background, and we're not going to go too much into the styling because even though this looks simple, this is actually a very complicated subject. You can make it extremely complicated. It's darker than we want. We'll give it that, and we'll give it a kind of some border. And we can even give it some rounded corners. Okay, so this login screen, here's a section where we're going to have a login. Chen-Yu, since you are, you seem to have really figured out the text widgets, I was wondering if you would be able to put in the text of the things that you think should go in a login, just kind of label it out there. So what you think the credentials would be. And as you start to put them in there, I'm going to ask Adora to follow along and put in the user controls that would go along with it. So user ID and password are the two things I'm familiar with. So Chen-Yu, go ahead and put in a user ID, and then I'm going to help just some labeling here. It's always good, and I'll show you later. I'm pretty. We're going to call this login. Oh, excellent. Oh, so I don't even know who's putting in the text boxes. I have a hard time. Unfortunately, I wish I had. We should have 3 ID sessions going on because it's so much fun. I want to be able to do this as well. So let's see, password, and if someone can put in password, and then we're also going to need a button to do the submit.
Does password also need a text also? Right?
Yes, and password, we're probably going to need to have some sort of a, I'm going to show you some of the properties of password because password normally has a password mask. Adora, could you please put in a submit button? All right, and then if I, name it submit would be great.
Okay.
And so you can, 2 ways to do that. So you can just double click right on the button. It'll let you rename it, or you can go to the properties. Now, excellent. And then one of the biggest challenges here, these objects don't do a good job of naming themselves. This button is called button 42. Repetition is the key for all simplicity. So if you could call the button submit, and if it says submit, call the thing submit, and just repetition is the best. Now let's take a look at what Chen-Yu has done on the password field. He has a password field. It's called text input 7, so I'm going to just call it password. It's won't break the system, but it's a lot easier to, you'll see later on. And then password, we're going to go ahead and simulate this in one moment here. Let's call this guy user ID.
I have a question.
Yes.
When I was going through the tutorial, they were putting those boxes with the square brackets so that we could track them with kind of dynamic.
Yes. And who's this speaking?
Monica?
Monica. Okay, so you were talking about being able to see dynamic information, or like have something happen dynamically on the screen?
Yes, they're giving the name with the square bracket around it, like for this text box.
Oh, yes, very good. You know what? That's an excellent practice. I should do that. So Monica was saying a naming convention that they have is they recommend, if it's, and I'll show you later, but they recommend having square brackets around it. So it's easier to see that it is, in fact, data, because we are going to have data going in and out of this control visually, and that's actually a practice I learned that after using iRise, so I'm stuck with the old habits, but that is a convention that makes it a lot easier. So so thank you, Monica. This is the first one. Let's just go ahead and simulate this, and again, this is not going to be a realistic looking page. We just accomplished putting things on a page. If this were realistic, this would be styled to look like a realistic web page. It would have behaviors, which this does not have yet. And it would have some sort of logic, which it does not have yet. And it would do something with data, which it does not have. So I want to set expectations low. So let's go ahead and simulate this, and we're going to hit this green play button. And this is always the fun part when someone has two screens. I bet you this is launched in a browser that we can't see off on Adora's other computer. Awesome. And actually, for the folks at home, we could send them a link to this page. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and type in work with this. Well, so we're on Adora's screen. Could you just type in some user ID and password? Obviously, it's not going to do anything. We haven't done any behaviors, but just type in there something that looks like a user ID. John, okay, John, and then password, type in something as a password. It's you probably wouldn't want John Doe's password showing up there, so there's a property on the text box that we can change to say that we'd like to have a password mask. So let's go back to the simulation, but before we do, I want to share a link to everyone so they can start joining and watching what we're doing on the screen. Let's see if I can copy. Adora, I don't know if can you open up a chat window and IM that link to everyone?
Okay. Share window?
Yeah, somewhere in that GoToMeeting chat window, you can IM this link to everyone, and
okay.
and they can actually see this screen. Well, even though they don't have the studio up just yet, they can start seeing what we're iterating on.
Screen share. Where would that be?
Oh, you know what? That's all right. You know what? We'll stick with what works. We'll put it on the People Who Jam sites page.
Okay.
All right. So if everyone goes to that People Who Jam page, we are going to add a link to. We're going to get put a link to this project on there. So folks that are following at home, you'll be able to just kind of refresh this, and you'll see what Team 1's been working on. I'm trying to have it hit new window. My aim's a little bit off. Can you hit new window and hit add link for me?
Okay.
Excellent. Add link, and then if you save it,
Okay.
hit save. So folks that are on the call, if you go to the team, to the bottom where it shows team projects, you can hit team simulate. Oh, and I'm going to put in credentials too, because not everyone has their own credentials set up. So when you have your own user ID and password, you'll use your own user ID and password. But in the meantime, use mine. Oops. This is a very secure simulation. So if folks at home get to the People Who Jam site, and you can kind of take a look at what we're working on from the viewer. So on the password side, oops, Control Z. On the password side, we want to, there's a, we can do validation, destination, type. One of the characteristics of it is you can have it a text, password, or hidden. So in our case, we'd want to have it password. And now if you go back to that page, you can just refresh it. I will close this down. Oh, that was the page I was looking for. We can go type in the password. And Dora, go ahead and type in a user ID and password. John, all right. And let's see if we can see what your password is. Perfect. Okay, so we now have, we use the form widget, the text widget, text box widget, the button widget. So we have a pretty good mastery, and because I was on the team and I couldn't resist, I put in rounded corners and some extra styling that we weren't supposed to do. So here's the next part. We wanted, I guess, when you click the button, we want it to go to some page to demonstrate that that there's been a valid login. So we're going to have to just grab some information. As I had indicated before, what we're going to do is we are going to do theater. So we could make a, we could actually try to build a true user ID and password in iRise, but for the purpose of simplicity, we're going to do some theater. So we're going to say, we're going to make a rule, if your username ever equals your password, that will pass. That sound fair enough? So we're going to do something that you probably wouldn't do in a real system. We're going to let everyone know how to log in. And it's a theater purpose. We just want to be able to show. I'm going to call a section called Simulation Theater. And I'm just going to kind of wrap Simulation Theater kind of in its own section. After doing this, I wish I would have had a visual boundary. So what I did is I wrapped it in a section, and I do the right click so often, but I'm going to, it's under Edit. I can say Wrap in Section. And so these are kind of our notes to everyone. And our requirement for Team 1 is we're only working on a valid login, and we're going to work on other things later. So is everyone with me so far? We've created a login page, and we've created a scenario. Let's go back. I'm going to go back to our login page, and we have the ability to color this. So we kind of have this thing looks pretty good. We've got a login page that looks pretty good. We haven't done much work on valid credentials or home page. Let's go back here to this team page. We want to have 2 navigation behaviors on this team, on this this team thing that we're working on. So we want to have 2. All right, so now this is the part where things get to be, we're going to start showing you just a little introduction into behaviors. And there's 2 types of behaviors. There's a, let's see, which one was he doing text setting 2? navigation behaviors. One is going to say view scenario and launch simulation. The driving's a little bit off here. So we want to have one simulation that will view the scenario. The other one that will launch the simulation. And so it's a quick review. Our scenario is this chapter right here. Here's our scenario screen. And our simulation is going to begins with with log on. So one of the unique things about iRise that is kind of interesting is you have this drag and drop capability here. So to make it easier, you can drag chapters onto your canvas. And this is the outside viewable area. So here's our home page. Actually, that's not where the simulation begins. Launch simulation and view scenario. So I'm going to, I guess, demonstrate for Chun. Is it Chun Yu?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to demonstrate for you how to link to view scenario, and then I'm going to ask you to then add a link to team login. So this is how you do a link to the scenario page. And when you do that, you automatically, it assumes that you want to use an on-click event. And the simulation now has, if you were to click on it, this will launch, it'll navigate to that page. We have the ability to edit this, this behavior. For example, you can have it open up in a pop-up window, and there are a couple other things that we can do as well. So Chun Yu, would you make it so launch simulation links to team login? Perfect. So let's go ahead and just simulate this Team 1 page here. So we can run this. So we see our team members are Dura and Chun Yu. We've identified the team members, team availability, and we have two navigation behaviors. One is view scenario. Click on it, and it brings you right here to the scenario. We also have launch simulation. Takes you right here. I want to show you again how everything's linked together. When you view the scenario, you can just click right into the screen and you're set up there. We have about 30 minutes left. How is everyone doing? And this is all recorded, so I'm going to bring it up obviously to the part that is has the most that is the most relevant. How's everyone doing so far? Does anyone have any questions on what we've been doing, or just kind of soaking it in? I'll take that as just soaking it in there, and we're going to have to obviously circle back after everyone has their credentials. So the next objective is we need to figure out how to capture user ID and password, and then have some logic that can figure out if the user ID and password are equal to each other. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So first thing, let's see if we can figure out how to capture data. So one of the things in iRise with the training that you saw, there's a special widget that is able to capture data. And for today's exercise, we're not going to look for persistent data. We're going to try to just have just kind of temporary data or a variable, if you will. Does anyone know the widget that is used to capture data as in the form of a variable?
The clipboard?
Clipboard, perfect. All right, excellent. Was that you, Adora?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so bring clipboards are different because they're not visual. There's something that's on the off-canvas part of the page. So making my room so I can launch you. So typically, so the clipboard is the thing that's going to catch data. So I need, if you could take the clipboard, you see that widget up there, and go ahead and just kind of put it to the right of our page.
I have a question.
Yes.
How about the record? Can we store in that one too?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The record, can we store data in that one too? Because one of the tutorial was saying like this.
We absolutely can. In fact, we can demonstrate both. We can demonstrate storing data persistent. So let's store data temporary, like in a temporary way, and then let's make two submits. Let's make one submit that submits the data and stores it in a temporary clipboard, and another one that stores it in a record, just to kind of demonstrate those two. So we'll call this one submit to clipboard. Just persistent data and the I guess variable, non-persistent or session data is just two slightly different sciences. One is CRUD, and the other one is just set and get and destroy. And I like this because obviously this I am always a solution waiting for a problem. So we're going to invent some reason to persist stuff in there. Maybe we'll have something in our solution that we're going to go above and beyond. That's going to record the number of successful logins or something like that. But for the time being, let's figure out how to submit data to the clipboard, and then we'll have the screen refresh. And so it'll say the data you just submitted to the clipboard is fill in the blank. So I'm going to make a section here called clipboard variables. And I like whoever was talking about the data sheet, because that gets into the some of the more challenging, fun stuff that makes the customer say, wow, because iRise is one of the few tools that you can do this persistent stuff, and that really kind of fakes someone out into believing that it's a real system. And it does use SQL Server in the back end when you're on the server, and locally it just uses an XML file with the different, whatever the standards are for retrieving, XPath for retrieving, and I don't know what it is for updates. But the password or the user ID and I'm going to wrap this in a section, give it a little bit of a border here, because obviously this is something we're doing here because it's training to teach ourselves, and this is probably something that we wouldn't show the customer. And just like in HTML, you have the option to make everything hidden. So the first part, let's see when we submit data to clipboard that it gets populated. So I always like putting in captions. This won't break anything, but user credentials. So we saw Shung Yu. Is that how you pronounce your name? I have to mispronounce your name at least 10 times to say it right. Shung Yu, is that close?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I want to, the same way that you were able to drag and drop to add a navigation behavior, you can do that to send data. So I want you, actually, I'm going to have Adura do it first, and then you'll do passwords. So Adura, I want you to drag the user ID text box into the clipboard. and just see what happens there. And say send data. And type in, and you can type in whatever you want. So just type in user ID. Again, this is a, there you go. And this is a project. If in my perfect world, we would be on a blank project. And that's excellent, user ID. Excellent right there. And Chun Yu, I'd like you to see if you can do the exact same thing, but with the password.
Okay.
And again, in a blank project, you would have a clean slate, no variables. So no problem if you pick an existing one, but if you just go ahead and type in your own. Excellent. So red lines, and I'm going to move these over to the right. For some reason, it's a, I don't know who decided it, but I don't really ask. I just kind of follow. They like have data. If the data is leaving the system, they like to have it on the right. And if the data is entering the system, they like to have it on the left. So this next thing, though, anyone that an HTML question, if you had a page, what is it called when you submit data from a web page to a web server? Does anyone know what that is? It's a form blank. It's a 4-letter word. Starts with a P. I heard someone say post. Yes. In iRise, they use the word submit. But I thought, isn't that called post? Or maybe my HTML knowledge is wrong. I thought it was post. But anyways, iRise, the way that they do it, there's an action. There's 2 ways to do this. My preferred way is just to do a right-click add event. But since we're training here, I'm going to show it many different ways. There's 4 or 5 ways to do the same thing. So we'll change it to Windows 7 Basic. So we'll click this action. There's this action called submit, and we're going to do teamwork. On Adora's side, we're going to create this action that does the submit function. Or is it called submit in HTML? Does anyone know? I haven't done programming in a while. Do they call it a submit, or is it a post? Okay. I feel fair if no one knows, obviously, right off the bat. So we're going to create an action called submit form, and it's going to submit this form to this clipboard. And then after it does that, I want the page just to refresh right now. Chung Yu, I would like you, could you make that, right now we have this action, but no one's calling this action. Would you be able to make the submit to clipboard initiate the submit form action? Do you know? The way you do it is very similar to the other navigation. Perfect. Perfect. You killed it. Now the last part is we have this clipboard. When it gets refreshed, well, let me demonstrate what we have right now so we can, well, let's just do it all in one shot. If we're going to do information overload, I'm making up for lost time. We're going to go at warp speed during the last 20 minutes, but it'll all be recorded so you guys can watch it in slow motion. So we have our user credentials that we had sent out there, and when this page refreshes, we would like the user ID and password just to show up right here to show that we're user ID. And password. This you'll notice that there is a little bit of magic in terms of how you drag and drop. There's those that have done Adobe Photoshop and worked with the Adobe products probably have developed tremendous skill with how to drag and drop things. Here, this when we're going a little bit slower, I'll talk about the nuances. But did everyone follow and see how drag and drop is going to take this clipboard item and put it here? So what we have now is we have a user ID and a password field. Chun Yu and Adora have this data going to a clipboard, our temporary data that in the future we're going to have a decision box evaluate it for something and make some navigation based on that. And when you hit the submit button, it'll get saved, and then we're just going to refresh the page. When the page loads, every time the page loads, it's going to show what we have as far as user ID and password right here. So let's go take a look at what we have. And folks at home, you guys can do the same thing. And one of the nice things about clipboards, as opposed to records, is let's say 20 people are on the system. Well, the clipboard's going to be unique to them because that's all temporary session-based. If this is record-based, if everyone's logging in, that's where we have the ability of our worlds to unintentionally collide. So, Adora, please go ahead and, if you want, just go ahead and type in a user ID and password, and let's submit to clipboard. And then type in something in the password, and we're not doing any logic at this point. Type in something, and when you submit it to clipboard, it's a variable date. I should call it data. But you'll see that that Sally Jones is there and S. Jones is here. So does everyone kind of see that that item? And again, I apologize for going fast, but since no one's able to, since there aren't that many folks with Studio, I thought I could go a little bit faster just to make up for to make it more entertaining. So this is a demonstration of the user ID and password. For the sake of theater, the customer just wants to see. Let's make a have this after it submits, instead of going to refresh. Let's just have this demonstrate our success scenario. We're not going to demonstrate logic just yet. So instead of going to refresh, I can just break the chain of command here, or the chain of events. Instead of going to refresh, I can have this link going to this home page, which doesn't look like anything. I'm thinking actually when we put in there we want to have successful user login, even though it doesn't, even though we aren't actually doing logic just yet. So let's go ahead and go to home page and just see if we can make just a real simple home page that can demonstrate what success would look like. And then after that, we're going to come back and we can show the, see, we have 15 minutes. Yeah, so let's go through, let's make a successful home page, and we'll come back, and then for, was it Anitha, about persistent data, we can come back and do the record. They'll have just enough time. Was that Anitha, the one of the record sheet? I think it was. Okay.
I think it's not me.
It's
Monica, I think.
Monica. Okay. Yes, we'll come back to Monica, and we'll do that as well. So let's go to the home page here. Chun Yu, are you able to follow me to the home page, or Adora to the home page? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do teamwork on this one, because we're like, all right, we're under the gun. We only have 15 minutes, and we got to show it to the customer. Chun Yu, could you make a title that says homepage login success? And Adora, would you mind, we need a clipboard that's going to say, that's going to pull in the login data and say welcome, and then put in the name of whatever the user ID was. Just say welcome user ID.
Okay.
Anywhere on the page. Homepage login success, awesome.
Okay.
And you'll need a text box, and type in the text box, say welcome space, and then open bracket, user ID, all one word. And close bracket. And for you now, you saw my drag and drop. If you had dragged that clipboard right into what you typed in with user ID, drag that right over that bracket until just that up a little bit. Yep, see that's hit cancel. This is the part where the folks with Adobe Photoshop experience have a slight benefit in their fine motor skills. Move a little to the left, a little left, a little left. That should get, perfect. Now let go. And just type in, start to type in user. I mean, there's so many fields here. Oh, there you go. User ID and hit OK. Perfect. And then when this is done, let's have them so they can start over. So could someone put in a button that says start, start over again or start over? Perfect. And call it start over. And then, and Chun Yu, just to help out Adora, would you drag the chapter team 1 somewhere in the gray area, and then that way Adora can have the start over button navigate to team 1. Oh, perfect. Adora, you see the team 1 chapter that Chun Yu put up? Could you connect yours to Chun Yu's?
Yes.
Excellent. And then just for navigation, could you drag team 1 over to the right side of the page? And then I've got I'm going to show you this one, because you've been able to demonstrate this one thing that always happens. You're going to say, oh shoot, just before I start over, I want to clear all my clipboard variables, stuff there. If you make a little bit more room, give yourself a little bit more room. Move team 1 a little further to the right, if you wouldn't mind. You're going to need a little more room for this maneuver. This is very tricky, and this is unfair what I'm about to do to you. Only someone with a lot of experience with Adobe would be able to do this. Zoom in, because you're going to have very fine motor skills. This is a very cool trick, though. And so zooming in, you can use the plus sign. There's 3 ways to zoom in. There you go. And on that blue line, get your mouse right on that blue line that goes to the page, in the off-page area. So move to the right. Just before on-click, just between and do a right-click, and we want to insert an event. Insert event, clipboard. Excellent. And hit clear entire. We want to change the property to clear entire clipboard, because when you start over, and you can say clear, clear clipboard. And then there's a radio button on there called clear entire clipboard, because when we start over again, we want it to have amnesia, so someone can type in whatever they want. Perfect. And you can go to team. That's all set up. That button just looks weird. So now we can actually run through this, and we're not going to win points for the UI here, although the scenario is pretty good. We can launch a simulation. So we want to demonstrate a user login with credentials. So if we go to launch our simulation, and we'll just do the submit to clipboard. And it says, homepage login success, welcome Tony. Well, we won't let anyone else know, and this is where simulation theater comes into place. We haven't yet put in the logic to demonstrate anything but a success. And that's, as I indicated, there's 4 things that we need to do to make a very real-looking simulation. We're going to come back with the decision. That's actually something I think I'm going to want to save. If we can get more people brought up to this level, I almost want to save this decision stuff for the advanced training. We certainly can do that, though. Let's go back to start over, and can launch a simulation again, and we're ready to give many demos. So just before we go forward, though, let's show Monica how we would do this. Same concept, but instead of using temporary data, let's use persistent data. We're going to use a record object. So we're going to create from the Team 1 login. We're going to create a Team 1 data sheet. And there's a couple different ways to create a data sheet. I'm going to show you the shortcut. We've created a data sheet. With the records, so there's, for those who are familiar with databases, they call it CRUD, where you can create a record, that's what save is. Read a record, that's what get record is. Update a record is update, they've kept with that one. And delete. In this case, we're going to want to do two things because we're going to want the persistent data to behave as if it's a clipboard. We're going to just have it, the first thing we're going to make it just delete a record, just clear it all out. Clear out all records. And then we're going to have it create a record. And I'm going fast, but this is only for the purpose of time. I wouldn't expect you guys to know it this quickly. By dragging these variables here, you'll notice on the data sheet, iRise automatically, well, once the data goes in there, it will automatically create that data. And we're going to have another submit action, but what I did here is I held down the control button, so if I find an action that I like, I can hold down the control button and bring it over here. I realize I need to do a better job of slowing down because I'm demonstrating the capability and I'm not slowing enough to really show you how I've done this. My lesson for next time is I will do that better. So we're going to have a submit form, and when you submit it, it's going to populate a data sheet, and then on the home page, I'm just going to add a table that shows the information that's in the data sheet. There's a couple different ways. The quickest way is data table. Oh. Usually that trick works. Maybe if you haven't showing you, I've created these castings are just data interfaces. So I've created one for user ID. If you could connect that red user ID into this cast operator or data interface thing for user ID, and the same for password, that'd be helpful. So when the data is submitted, we want the user ID to go to this guy and the password to go to the other one. Can you drag and drop those things in there? User ID into user ID and password. Excellent. So the submit record action, we have two different types of actions. So just for the sake of demonstration and just for the sake of demonstrating that there's two ways to skin a cat, this guy sends the data to the clipboard, and this guy's going to send it to the data sheet. On the form, just to demonstrate that we have put it in the data sheet. And I'm going to delete that untitled row. Excellent. So we did this one fast, and let's see. Simulation is not fun unless you can do it with only 3 minutes remaining on the clock. So we're going to launch the simulation. And we're going to submit to record. And we now have the data, user ID and password is in there. If you take a look at the data sheet, you see the user ID and password. Is anyone at home, this is where it's kind of fun, is anyone other than Adora able to access the simulation? If they could, I want to see if they would mind typing in the user ID and password so we can watch it change right on Adora's screen. Would anyone be able to run this? Is anyone able to run this simulation from their browser? Jen, you?
I'm trying.
Oh, great. All right, so we're going to launch it, and so this is it's a good news and bad news thing. The neat thing, if you're on the definition center, you can interact. So if you have a scenario where you want to demonstrate workflow, this can be kind of a powerful thing because you could simulate, I guess, someone passing data between two people that are logged in the definition center. It probably would be a risky thing to do if you were trying to simulate the difference between persistent and session-based data. There you go. You can see it changed. You can see Chen Yu just logged in and he typed in something, user ID and password. Anyone else at his home, following in the simulation, when they click that, they're updating the data sheet. So I've got a list of folks. So right now there's really Adora is the only one that actually has everything configured and set up. The other folks, and I'll circle back with the iRise representatives, still need to have appropriate credentials. Chen Yu is able to get installed and access, but not under his ID. And it's it will cause I don't mind anyone using my ID, but it prevents me from being able to collaborate along with you guys, which is probably good. It slows me down. But if we need to all have different IDs so we can log in and collaborate at the same time. This basically, I'm going to end this meeting now. I'm sorry that we didn't get as much accomplished. However, there's some lessons learned from here in terms of connectivity. I'll send out a recap. The YouTube meeting, the YouTube of this meeting will be available on the page as well. Does anyone have any questions or concerns at this moment, other than how do I get properly set up with my credentials? Okay. Is anyone? Okay. Well, would like to thank everyone for joining the meeting. I'm sorry about the technical challenges that we've had. The meeting, I am going to put our meeting minutes will be this our YouTube video right up here, and I'll follow up with the folks that weren't able to get everything installed. So just as a quick roll call of folks that are on the call, is there anyone that I missed that was able to get Studio installed that I've not recorded it? Right now I only have 4 people recorded as having installed Studio. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate this, and hopefully you guys aren't too dismayed by the setup. Once we have our server set up over in ActionNet, there will be a couple things that are cleaner, and we won't have to share our projects in such a noisy server. So thank you, everyone, and this concludes today's training. And I'll be circling back with you next week, and we'll be in the office, but we'll still we'll still be doing this remotely from our computers because I have to, like I said, kind of be like a leprechaun and jump across to everyone's screens, and that's very difficult to do without breaking an ankle in a room in real life. So, all right, well, I'm going to conclude the meeting for right now. Thank you, everyone, for your time. And Team 1, I'll post it up there. Great job, Chen Yu and Adora. I need to put you on the prerequisite, Met. Good luck on your jam sessions on Tuesday. I hope that I'll be able to join as well, and maybe some other folks could join too to kind of watch what you're doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye. And if you haven't done so, make sure you go attend those online classes. All right, over and out, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.